Hello, welcome to Cinema Savvy, and welcome back to a brand new movie review. We are continuing our reviews of the London Film Festival films. We are 3 movies deep into this thing, and today I'm going to be giving my review, and George is going to be asking me questions on Siberia, which is the Italian drama film directed by Abel Ferrara, starring Willem Dafoe, resident favorite on the channel, mostly down to the Sam Raimi trilogy. And this was one that I just wanted to watch because Willem Dafoe was in it. That's the only reason. I didn't even look at what the film was about. I didn't know the director. I haven't seen anything the director's done before this. I did actually check. This is the 6th collaboration that Willem Dafoe's had with the director. So clearly they've found sort of like a working rapport together with this thing. Didn't know what to expect with this thing. And well, we're going to get into it in a minute. I don't really have many thoughts on it. And the thoughts that I have are very confused. That's probably the best way that I can go into this. But before we get into it, we are going to be reviewing a lot of films across London Film Festival. We still have many, many more to come over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to be seeing some of these bigger films as well that are going to be coming in next year for the Oscar season. So be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let us know if you're also watching these films as well, if you've got access to London Film Festival, or if there's any particular films that you're looking forward to, the big hitters. We've got One Night in Miami, for example, and Nomadland, which are definitely going to be some of those bigger ones coming up soon. And obviously follow us on socials as well. We are on Facebook. If you just type in Cinema Savvy, you can find us on there. Twitter at cinema_savvy. And we also have a TeePublic link in the description down below where you can buy some merch. We've got 3 very nice shirts on there. So go and check those out. Over to you, George. Now, you didn't see this film, but you're going to be asking me questions on this, and I'm going to try and answer any, if any. I don't know. This was a very strange film. It's about 1 hour and 20 minutes, so it doesn't outstay its welcome, but it felt long. I had to have pause breaks. So yeah, did you read up about this film? Do you know anything about this film before?
The only thing I knew was that I wanted to watch this for the only reason you've also watched the film. It has Willem Dafoe in the video, in the film, and I didn't know about the director. I didn't see a trailer. I didn't even know it was a foreign film. I knew next to nothing. So when we're doing Oscars, also because I'm gutted, I'm going to miss the Willem Dafoe film because of work. Obviously, you guys at home haven't seen the other film festival reviews. The way it's going to work, some of these, not everyone can see every film. But if we haven't, we're going to try and jump on. So Chris helped me on One Man and His Shoes, whereas I also helped out on the Mogul review. So if you're wondering why I'm here, that's why I'm here. But in terms of the main thing, yeah, couldn't you even... I mean, I feel really bad now because I feel like I maybe pushed this on you. You probably would have seen it though.
Yeah,
if
no,
you knew
I
Willem
wanted
Dafoe's
to,
in it. Yeah, and can you like describe like the not even the plot, but we're mainly here for Willem Dafoe. So is he good in it as a lead actor? And the thing I messaged you on Facebook is Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe, or is he speaking Italian or whichever language it's meant to be? But I think I know the answer to that now.
It's Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe. I've got 2 possible plot outlines I can read. I've got one off Wikipedia and I've got one off IMDb. And I actually think the Wikipedia one's probably going to trump the IMDb one. The IMDb one literally says an exploration into the language of dreams. Now, when you read that, that sounds fascinating. It's like, oh, great, Inception sequel on our hands here. Let's do this. It really isn't that kind of movie. So this is the premise according to Wikipedia, for the film Siberia. Clint, an English speaker, has abandoned his former life and now runs a bar in Siberia where most of the few guests do not speak English. He suffers from hallucinations and embarks on a dog sled journey to a nearby cave where he confronts his dreams and memories, including some of his father, brother, former wife, and son, trying to make sense of his life. And Willem Dafoe's trying to make sense of his life in this film. I'm trying to make sense of this film. So the director, Abel Ferrara, he's an independent filmmaker. Apparently, has got a very provocative style, sort of neo-noir and gritty imagery and very strange kind of abstract surrealism type films. And surrealism can be used well. I love surrealism, for example, in horror cinema, where you have really crazy, weird stuff. Kubrick, for example, used a lot of it in The Shining, just really random stuff on camera that is in itself unnerving. And then you have some things like Darren Aronofsky's Mother, which is sort of a series of random things happening, but it's at least tied together with a metaphor of the Bible and the Bible stories and like the history of man and everything. So there's something to tether it to. This is an example of surrealist cinema where I have no basis, I have no grounding, I don't know what it's trying to say. There is a scene in this film. I don't even feel like I can spoil this film because I don't really know what it's getting at, but there's a scene in this film where Willem Dafoe is hallucinating in a cave and he sees a naked small person in a wheelchair. He then, whilst an obese lady is dancing, interpretive dancing, overly skinny guy with a bloody crotch comes walking up to him. And then then we have packs of husky dogs that the camera just cuts to. And maybe that means something to someone. Maybe that means something to Abel Ferrara, the director. It meant nothing to me. So you're just watching this collection of random stuff happening. And I mean, I even told you about a clip as well of it. Another one where you've got Willem Dafoe and he's just dancing to Runaway by Del Shannon as he's dancing around a maypole, happily skipping. And it just feels like random cuts, random edits, random stuff on camera that makes sense to someone. And I hate films like that. I like a film with a compelling story and characters and motivations. And, you know, I can watch some weird films. Like I've seen some weird kind of abstract films, but they've always got to have that level. You've got to sort of know what it's trying to say, what the message is there, regardless of how artsy the director is being and getting that message across. I did not get that grounding with this film. It was a real chore to get through. I'm not going to lie. Willem Dafoe was great. I mean, he's basically playing Willem Dafoe. He's really not breaking the mold with this one. It's, you know, the same kind of way that he enunciates his lines. He's got that intensity in the role. He can play different sides to characters, and he does it well. He's Willem Dafoe. I love the guy. But it's just the film around it. So, you know, fair play to him. He has been doing a lot of these smaller films. We saw him do The Lighthouse, which I thought he was phenomenal in. He did the Vincent van Gogh film as well. At Eternity's Gate, I think it was called, in 2018. He's been doing a lot more of these smaller films, and it's nice to see him crop up every now and then in these smaller projects. This was just a film that was just terrible. I hated it. It's just a film that's showing a lot but really not saying anything. That was sort of my biggest takeaway from this film.
I don't know how I can follow that up.
There's also one of the worst bear attacks I've ever seen in a film. It's a laughable costume, and it's meant to be a serious bear attack. There's a guy in the same bar at a kind of casino, what do you call them, with the three spinny things, and you hit it, and all three of them have to line up. Like a fruit machine. Fruit machine, that's it. He's playing a fruit machine, and it lands on 9, and the third one, it lands on 9, and it's on that middle one, and you're focusing on it. And then it's smash cut to a snarling bear savaging Willem Dafoe with no context and no setup, and it's like a guy holding like a costume bear head. I think The Revenant still definitely gives it a run for its money in terms of on-screen bear attacks. It was at that moment he knew he fucked up. It was at that moment I knew that this is going to be this kind of film. So over to you for questions. But honestly, like if I was in your shoes right now and you'd seen this film, I wouldn't even know. Yeah,
all I'm going to say is not to criticize the funding, because sometimes these smaller films, you mentioned Lighthouse, which I did think of immediately. You take a film with a weird premise that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can do something great with it. Is this one of them films that maybe got green? I mean, I don't know much about the director, so maybe this is my ignorance of foreign films. If someone wanted to comment that, if they were sort of fuming, or is this the kind of film that got funded because Willem Dafoe's name was in it? The same reason you've watched it, the same reason I would have watched it, the same reason many probably have chosen to watch it, if they've watched it, is likely down to Willem Dafoe. Could it be one of those where it's him helping his mate out?
Maybe, I don't know. No, I think this is probably like a passion project for the director. I think it's a message that the director wants to get across, and you know, I am kind of being dismissive with it. I kind of pick up on some elements, I think, of what he's trying to say. Willem Dafoe plays a character who's very haunted. There's this whole monologue that he has with a version of himself where he says that he's lost his soul. We get a very good sense of sort of isolation at the beginning of the film. Arguably some very nice cinematography in the film, some nice lighting in some moments. There's a weird green filter over like the snow shots, though I don't quite know why that is. But when the film started off, it reminded me a little bit of Hateful Eight. You have this sort of this inn, this tavern, this sort of bar in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by snow, really perilous conditions. And it seems like he's going on some kind of spirit quest. There's a lot of Native American imagery in there and Native American actors in there as well. And it's almost like he's going on his own kind of spiritual quest to discover himself. He sees visions of his, as I mentioned in the plot synopsis, sees visions of his former wife and his father and his son. So it seems like the story is about a man trying to come to terms with all these different areas of his life. Maybe he's messed up and everything like that, but it's the execution. Like that would be a great concept for a film. And I think you could tell that in an artistic way, but it felt like it was just throwing too much surreal stuff on camera. It felt like a film equivalent of a modern art gallery. That's the best way I can describe it, where people can pick it apart if they want to, and they can study it, but ultimately it's like a dot on a blank piece of paper. You know, it's stuff like that. It's so much random stuff on screen that I don't even want to pick apart. I haven't even got the energy in my body to try and pick it apart, because I'm not that kind of movie fan. I'm not that kind of guy, and I ain't gonna do it. I did it for Charlie Kaufman's recent film, which me and Tate did a review for, and that's got loads of things you can pick apart. That is very surreal and very strange, but again, you read into it, it has got that through line throughout it. And this one there probably is a through line, but at the moment it feels like it's spaghetti junction going everywhere, and I just don't care. I just don't care. I just want a movie with a good story and good characters. That's just, is that too much to ask for? But I didn't get it with this one. But I did get Willem Dafoe, and I did get Willem Dafoe having fun, dancing around a maypole, and just acting really goofy. And if nothing else, that was mildly entertaining. But that's pretty much the only takeaway that I had from this film.
I don't know if there's anything more I can add to that, because I can tell you're struggling. It feels like one of them, I'd probably be in the exact same situation if I was on the other side. And I think when we do see these festivals, we do like them. You get some really great films. And because a lot of the time we don't know what we're going in for, I tend to not read up on the plots of a lot of the films and festivals. I try not to watch the trailers. I don't want to know much going into them, because these are films that we're kind of meant to experience being that festival term. And this strikes me as the kind of thing I could see getting passed around to like 5-6 festivals, and then no distributor wants to buy it to then release it. It sounds like one of them, but that's my kind of final question, because I've got nothing left to ask. I will not be seeing this, politely put, because
if you are going to check this out, watch highlights on YouTube. That's it. Just watch like a couple of Willem Dafoe highlights on YouTube, and you're golden. You don't need to watch this whole thing, and it's only 90 minutes. But you could do anything else with those 90 minutes. Just watch another film. Go do something else. Go do something productive. Do not watch Siberia. Would not recommend. I'm actually just having a look at what movies we've got coming out recently. In terms of the festival, I have the schedule up now. We have, so guys at home, the reason why we're splitting, there's a lot to watch. So the next big one is going to be Mangrove, which is the Steve McQueen film, which is technically opening the festival. We've got a couple of reviews out now. I've got an interview out by the time you're watching this as well, which was great. But the big one is Mangrove. However, Tate will be watching Farewell and More, or at the time of recording, he would have already seen it, so we should have a review out for that. But the next big one is Mangrove, and you can expect that late night this Wednesday, the 7th. That's going to be a very interesting one, the new Steve McQueen film, one of his 5 in the Small Axe anthology series / film. Is it? I mean, I guess it's an anthology of films now, if they're all over. Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's made 5 of them. Yeah.
Incredible to drop 5 films in the space of 1 month, which is going to happen. That's remarkable. But yeah, if it hasn't floated your boat, the Siberia review, do check out our other festival reviews. Like I said, we've got Mogul Mowgli, One Man and His Shoes, and we've got plenty more coming on the way. And I'm going to kind of round this out once more by bringing up the socials. Again, we don't know when we're going live. We have rough dates, but there's so many films in such a short space of time. The best way to find out is on social media. So Facebook, Cinema Savvy, and on Twitter at Cinema_Savvy. And I'm going to just go ahead and mention the interview once more. Interview with the director of One Man and His Shoes, Yemi Moreno. That went live on the channel yesterday when you are watching this. So thank you, I guess, for watching. If Chris wants to round out.
Yeah, I think we've said everything. So yeah, many more films to come, and we'll see you guys on the next review. Take care.